folks, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to open the Maven project we created. So I actually didn't change anything from the last video here. You probably will still have this message here displayed, or you may have closed VS Code. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Actually, when we created this project, there was a little option down here on the bottom right that said open. You could click on that option and it would have opened the Maven project we created. However, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come up to the top left here. We can click on the project explorer here. We want to click on open folder, in other words, open project. So I'm going to go ahead and click on open folder, and we need to locate the project where we saved it. This is why it's really important for you to know where you saved your project. Okay, I saved it in my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and look for it, and here it is, Chroma Tech Automation. I'm going to click select folder, and then on the top left you'll see the project here. And VS, just give some time for the project to open, and you should see the exact same thing I'm seeing here. Okay, so this is the Maven project we created. Okay, we do have some other options right here: outline, timeline, Java projects, Maven. These are actually modules here. We'll talk about these later. Okay, but if I minimize this, this is how this would look: Chroma Tech Automation, outline, timeline, Java projects, Maven, and so on. Okay, now one thing about VS Code, you can actually customize this a lot. If you don't like the theme, you can actually go to the extensions module here, and you can search up any theme you'd like. Okay, so for example, I can just type in theme, and you can kind of explore and change the color of VS Code and everything like that. It's up to you. Go and customize it if you'd like. For example, there's this Winterus coming from Game of Thrones. This is how your VS Code would look. Go ahead and you know, look around, have fun with this, customize it so that you can have more fun with all of this. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Explorer here. I'm going to close this tab, and you'll notice something. I'm going to go ahead and minimize it. Now I'm going to expand it, and this is the structure of the project. We have an SRC folder, a target folder, and a pom.xml. Okay, now these are folders here, though they don't have like a folder symbol or a folder sign, but they are folders. Okay, this SRC is short for source. Okay, so when we click on it, we have two folders here, main and test. Okay, we're actually going to use both of them throughout the course, especially when we start developing our test automation framework. Let's go to the test right here. Okay, this is the test folder in the SRC folder. Okay, so just write this down somewhere. Keep this in mind, that in the SRC folder we have two folders, main and test. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on test, and you'll see that when I click on this, you're gonna see this java/com/Chroma Tech/automation. This was the group ID that we gave when we were creating the project, if you remember, com.chromatech.automation. So actually, this is the test folder here, but then there's a Java folder inside the test folder, and there's a com folder inside the Java folder, and these folders are actually packages. So if we open this in IntelliJ, the view may look a little different actually. Okay, but I'll just follow the steps carefully and you'll be good to go here. Okay, so we have different packages here. Okay, for example, this automation package is inside the Chroma Tech package, which is inside the com package, and the com package is inside the Java package, and the Java package is inside the test package, and the test folder is inside the SRC folder. Okay, so we'll go ahead and you know, I'll probably show you how this looks in IntelliJ later on through the course. Okay, to prevent this though, you may not want to give such a long name like Chroma Tech Automation. However, this is just the beginning, so later on when we start creating different classes and so on, this will look completely different. Okay, let's go ahead and click on the app test.java here. Okay, now I want to show you guys something here. When I click this class, you notice that this tab here, this is the name of the class actually, app test.java. You notice that the name is italicized. So if I were to create another class, let's create another class actually here in the automation folder here. Let's right click. Okay, now again, be very careful where you're right clicking. You can right click here, you can right click here, but that would create the class in a different folder. So in the automation folder, just right click and create new file. Okay, so in order to create a Java class, okay, you need to add the .java extension at the end of the file. In IntelliJ and Eclipse, you don't have to do that. That's already done for you by default, okay? Because those are IDs meant for Java development programs. But here, we kind of have to be a little bit more specific with VS Code, even though we installed all the Java extensions required for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this class, let's call it test.java. Okay, just like this. And actually, you notice that when I type in .java, VS Code recognizes that this is a Java file, so I see a J. If I go ahead and delete this, it's gone. It recognizes it as a text file here. If I go ahead and do this, okay, this is not a Java class. So if you go ahead and do this, no biggie, just go ahead and delete it. Okay, take your time, I'm gonna delete it. And I'm going to create it again. So I'm going to right click on the automation folder here. I'm going to click new file. And I'm going to type in test.java like this and hit enter. The moment I do that, you'll see a class just like this. Okay. Now I do want to show you something. You may think that you can just edit the name of the file if you accidentally create the wrong class. For example, let me create a new class. I'm going to right click on the automation folder. I'm going to click new file. Let's say I'm going to call this class sample like this. Okay. Now let's say I forget to enter the .java. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. So at this point, you would think that if you rename this, if I right click and click rename, if you add the .java extension, even though VS Code recognizes this as a Java file, it doesn't create that class template for you that you actually need. So it's better to just delete it and just create it again the way you're supposed to, okay? And then you could have this class template here with the package statement on line 1. Okay, so in this class, you notice that I have this little dot right here, okay? This means that this class was created, but this means that I have unsaved changes here. Okay, so to save your changes, you can do Command S or Control S, but I always like to go to File and click on Save All. And there you go. You'll see that that little dot is gone, okay? Because I saved my changes. Now, what I want to show you is this. So I'm going to go ahead and close this class and close this class. If I click on the apptest.java, okay, you'll notice that this name is italicized here. So if I click on this class, test.java, you see that it overrides the previous class that was open. And maybe I didn't want that to happen. Maybe I want both classes to be open. So if you click on a class or any tab, or any file in VS Code, and it's italicized for the first time and you want it to be open, just double click on it so that it's not italicized anymore. And when you do that and you open another class, it won't override, okay? So just always double click on your tabs, or what you can do is you can click on the Java class on the left here. You can double click on this too, actually, and it'll do the same thing as well. So I'll double click here and you'll see that it will keep these tabs open, okay? These classes open the way you would want, okay? So actually, I'm going to close this apptest.java, okay? Don't worry about any of this here. We'll write different programs actually. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Here inside this class, I'm going to create a main method. So I'm going to type in main and then hit enter. Just like that, you'll be able to create a main method. And just to make sure that everything is working, okay, I'm going to do syso, hit enter. I'm going to print out I am a cool tester, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just save it. You can do Control S, Command S, or File Save All, okay? And then, well, to run a program in VS Code, okay, you can either click on this little run option here, okay, which would run the main method. You can click on this little play button that would run Java here, okay? But if our class is long, right, and if we have our main method on the bottom, it's always best to just right click and click scroll down and just run Java. Okay, so I always like to click on the class that I want to, or wherever the program is that I want to run. I want to right click, click run Java, and it's going to run that program here. Okay, if you don't see run anywhere here, if you don't see run here, if you can't right click, well, if you can right click and you don't see run Java, that means that something may have gone wrong. Maybe your Java wasn't configured correctly, and so on. Okay, so just to make sure everything is working as expected, I'm going to right click in this class. I'm going to scroll down, click on run Java. Okay, and you may see this option here. Yours may work. Okay, yours may actually work right away. Mine is asking me to select which method to run, and so I'm going to select the main method to run here. So there it is. I am a cool tester. Okay, and it's printing out in the debug console. If I click on run here, I actually don't need to select that option there, as you saw. So if I right click and click run Java, VS Code's asking me, what program would you like to run? And I want to run the main method. However, I can click on run right here, and it's not going to ask me that because it knows that I'm trying to run this main method here. Okay, so go ahead and run the program however you like. You have options. Okay, now I see this. I am a cool tester in the debug console. That's where we want to see it. Okay, if you see your program print out in the terminal, this is what you have to do. Okay, so I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to go to Preferences. For Mac, you may have to go to VS Code Preferences. Okay, or Settings. So you're going to go to Preferences. You're going to go to Settings. And then here, you're going to, in the search bar, you're going to type in Java Debugger like this, okay? And you're going to see two options here, Java Debugger and JavaScript Debugger. Click on Java Debugger, okay? And then you want to scroll down. Here, for me, it says Internal Console. For you, it'll probably say Integrated Terminal like this, okay? This is what you may have for default. So let me show you. Let me go back and run this main method. So if I go ahead and run this, you see that the I am a cool tester is printing out in the terminal. We don't want this to print out because VS Code is running your program the real Java way as you would through a bash terminal. So you see how it's passing like the whole path to wherever our project is, and it's running this class, this program in this class. We don't want all of this information here, right? We just want to see I am a cool tester. So we'll go back to Settings. Okay, if you see Integrated Terminal here, change this Integrated Terminal to Internal Console. Okay, like this, and make sure that everything is saved, right? If you go back to test.java and run your program again, if you go to debug console, you will see your text here, okay, that you wrote in your print statement right here. Okay, so that's just how you would run your programs in VS Code. Just to recap everything we talked in this video, we talked about how you would have an src main and src test. I created this test.java in the automation folder here. So I right clicked on automation, I clicked new file. Remember that every Java class you will create will have the .java extension at the end. If you forget to add the .java extension, it's okay, it's all good. Just delete it and create it again. Okay. Now you have different ways to run your Java programs. You can click on this, you can click on this play button here, you can right click and click run Java, and it's going to run your program. Okay, if that is not working for you, if you don't see run or any of the play buttons, and that means that you may not have installed the Java extension pack, so please watch the previous video. But again, if you're having any other issues, please reach out to us and we'll help you. Okay, and lastly, to see your programs or any text in the debug console here, okay, we went to the settings and we typed in Java Debugger, and we went and looked for the Java Debug Settings Console section here, and we changed it from Integrated Terminal, which was the default setting, and we changed it to Internal Console. Okay, so go ahead, and you may have to rewatch this video to get a little bit more familiar with VS Codes. Remember about the double clicking of your classes if you want to have more than one open.